Beyond our sun, there is another star, the closest one to us. A faint red light, barely visible in the night sky. From Earth, it looks harmless, just another distant ember, burning quietly in the dark. But around that star, there is a world. A planet circling in the only place where warmth can exist. Where frozen ground can begin to soften. Where something could start. A world that should have oceans. A world that should have clouds. A world that should have life. And for a moment, it felt like we had found it, not far away, not hidden across the galaxy, but right next door. But then, something started to break, because this star is not calm. It erupts. Violent flares tear across its surface, blinding arcs of light ripping through the darkness. Radiation floods outward, spilling into space like invisible fire. Again and again. And every time it happens, the planet is exposed. So now the question is changed. Not could life exist there, but something far more unsettling. What happens to a world that should support life when the star it depends on never stops attacking it? We found this world in the faint movement of starlight, a subtle pull, a hidden presence. We called it Proxima B. A planet just slightly larger than Earth, close enough that it almost feels within reach. But it isn't. Because space does not measure distance the way we do. Even the closest star is separated from us by a void so vast that light itself takes years to cross it. If you could stand there and look back, our entire solar system would disappear into the dark. It is close and still unreachable. But distance was never the real problem. Because Proxima B does not move freely, it is locked. One side always facing the star, held in place by an unbreakable pull. A world that does not spin, a sky that never changes. On one side, the star hangs motionless above the horizon, never rising, never setting. The surface below it is bathed in constant light, a place where shadows never move and the sky never darkens. On the other side, there is nothing. No sunrise, no glow, just a frozen surface buried in endless night. A sky filled with stars that never shift. Between them, a narrow strip, a thin, dim light stretching across the planet, where light and darkness collide. A place where ice could melt and water could exist. But even here, the sky would not be calm. It would flicker, flash, break apart in sudden bursts of light, because every flare, every eruption reaches deeper. The atmosphere, if it ever formed, would not stay. It would begin to lift from the surface, stretched upward by invisible forces, pulled away into the emptiness above. Like smoke slowly escaping into space. Each burst stripping away another layer, until nothing remains to shield the ground below. No sky, no barrier, no protection. Just open exposure to a star that never rests. And without that protection, the surface begins to change. Any ocean that formed would not remain still. It would begin to vanish, slowly at first, then faster, until it rises into the sky and disappears completely, leaving behind a dry, exposed surface, cracked and lifeless. A world where water cannot stay. But the most unsettling part comes next. Because even that narrow region, that thin line between extremes, is not safe. Each flare cuts across it. Each burst resets it. Any stable moment is temporary. Any calm period is broken. Nothing lasts long enough to grow. Nothing remains steady long enough to evolve. It is a world where the process keeps starting and never finishes. Which changes what this planet represents. Because Proxima B is not rare. Stars like this fill the galaxy. Small, dim, unstable, the most common stars in existence. And many of them have planets just like this. Worlds sitting in the right place, worlds with the right conditions. Worlds that should work, but exist under skies that never settle, and environments that never hold. Which means something unsettling. The universe may be filled with worlds like this. Planets where oceans tried to form and vanished. Worlds where atmospheres rose and were lost. Places where life could have begun but never had the chance to continue. Proxima B is just the closest example, a nearby world that looks like a second Earth from a distance, but up close, it tells a different story. A planet with the right conditions and the wrong sky. A world that should be alive, but probably never will be. Join us next time as we explore more mysteries of the universe.